when the Lord comes, he shall smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Yahweh by Ahchyam Yahushai. And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
Right.
That's Yahushai, nobody else.
That's right, man.
You had that nigga, the DOC, right? He came out and he was the top. He probably would have been the top rapper of all time.
Yep.
But he named his album King of Kings
and Lord of
Lord.
What the Lord do to him? The Lord smacked him up. He was on a motorcycle, a car. And after that, his career. After that, his career. Yeah, I remember when he came out. I mean, I love that. I mean, yo, that was my man.
He was bad.
He was bad. He was down with NWA, but yo, the Most High smacked him up in the car, and that was the end of his career, man. Yeah, he had a problem. He'd have been the top nigga in the NWA, but after that, the nigga couldn't. Ended his career. His run was over.
Yeah, that's the Lord, because the Lord is the true King of Kings and Lord of Lords, man. And he gonna prove it when he take out these other nations, man. And they've been bragging about their different fighter jets, their different missiles. Hell, the Lord is gonna take over the missiles.
Hey, 10 years ago on the History Channel, the general came out there and said the stuff that they have nowadays will make George Lucas' head spin around.
Yeah.
George Lucas is one of the greatest Star Wars.
And, and they don't realize the Lord allowed them to get bumped up like that, right? Allow them to pump themselves up because Yahweh Shai wants to fight, all right? But it's going to be an easy, flawless victory. Easy work. 17. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great Most High, that ye may eat the flesh of kings and the flesh of captains and the flesh of mighty men. Who do you think that's speaking about? All these people that's in the military, man. That's going to be destroyed when the Lord comes back by those same so-called UFOs. It says, in the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great. And I saw the beast, they go to beast, which is what? NATO. All right? The big bad NATO going around bullying, enforcing bullshit policies throughout the whole world, right?
Years ago, we had a nigga come to the camp.
Oh, yeah.
In New York, we were going to kick his ass, man. He said, no, I ain't going to fight you. I'll get the beast on you. That nigga straight up said he was going to get the beast. He said he was going to get the beast on us. Yeah, man, nigga, I was going to fight the nigga. You know, he came to the camp, he was wild. I was going to fight the nigga. If we were going to fight, he said, nah, nigga, I ain't going to fight you. I'll get the beast on you. And then he ran and jumped on the phone and called the cops on us, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, but hey, that show you he knew who the beast was.
That's right. 19. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. That's the battle of Armageddon, the Mount of the troops. All right? And it said the kings of the earth, that's these other nations with Esau. All right? Gonna stand there and try to battle the Lord. It said, and the beast was taken. All right, meaning the Lord destroyed him. And with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him. Yeah, Esau and his
Esau.
Roman.
The Pope is a part of that. We're talking about the Pope. The Pope is a part of that. They're talking about Esau in general. Really the elites. Because they the false prophets. They the ones pushing out all these false philosophies. The elites. The Illuminati, man.
That's right. It said, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast.
That's right. All the people in the beast, so that's talking about the Illuminati. Because they the ones that's going to give out the mark, the chip.
Now remember when the Pope, speaking about the Pope, remember he had some documents stolen? Everybody in the Vatican's been chips ever since.
Oh, okay. I ain't know that. But see, you said, it said, which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast. So everybody that, and then the scriptures tell you, whoever received the mark of the beast, they're going to be left here and they're going to die, man. This thing ain't no game, man. You got people sitting up there, oh yeah, I had a chip, well, I got chipped up today. What are you waiting for, right? Certain bitches, you're going to try to holler at them, they're going to be like, where's your chip? You know? Because these stupid bitches, they're going to take the chip. Unless the spirit of the Lord have them with one of the men of the Lord. But the only way these hoes are going to make it out of here is with the men of the Lord, man.
If you got the chip, you ain't going to make it.
Right.
you ain't gonna make it, man.
We don't want you.
If you got the chip, you ain't gonna make it. You ain't gonna make it if you got the chip,
You gonna
man.
make the trip if you got the chip.
Hey, if your woman go get the chip, then forget about her. Get a new woman.
Yeah, the Lord said, gonna get another one. You gonna get another
The
one.
Lord will give you another woman. If your woman go and run and sneak off and get the chip, then forget about her ass.
That's right.
Yep,
That's right. That's right. It said these both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. Which of course that's America, because America's gonna be on fire from the nuclear destruction, and then also from the Lord, like the apostle was going into earlier about the lasers that the Lord's gonna be issuing or shooting from the mouth of the chariots, which is gonna be streams of fire burning shit up. The Lord's gonna catch wreck, man.
Oh yeah. Well, we're gonna go back to the Ezra's.
That's right.
Yeah.
It said, and the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh.
Yep, that's talking about the destruction. When the missiles come, and then those chariots, when the chariots come. Hence, like what you saw in the beginning of Independence Day, and all the movies that they were making about chariots coming and destroying shit. And it's always America.
Right, come.
It's always America. Like what you saw in Terminator 2. Let's go back to Ezra's, man.
Second Esdras, chapter 13, verse 6. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it.
A mountain, meaning Ezra's, he saw the chariot, it was so huge it looked like a mountain. So he said, so he said he had graved himself, meaning what Ezra's, he was trying to explain it, looking at it from his ancient eyes. In Ezra's mind, he said, I guess what he must have did was, he must have took a giant sword and carved a piece of mountain and got it in the sky floating. But it was really the chariot. He said he had graved himself, and he cut out a mountain, and he was flying on top of a mountain. That's what Ezra's, his ancient eyes were trying to explain what he was seeing. But go ahead.
Second Esdras 13 and 7. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven.
That's right. He trying to say, but look, all I can say was a mountain floating in the sky, but I was trying to see where he could have cut this mountain from, but it was just a mountain and this a giant object floating in the sky. Looked like a mountain. You know how huge mountains are?
He said when you come back, all eyes shall see.
That's right. It's gonna be no mistaking, man. Go ahead, brother.
Second Esdras 13 and 7. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. Verse 8. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him.
All they, which we already pointed out, these other names, the other men outside, but he saw these other Esau and his jet fighters and their weapons coming to fight against the chariot of Yahweh Shai. Go ahead.
Second Esdras 13 and 8. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight.
That's right. They were scared, man. Like they were shitting and pissing on it. They were nervous. They shaking, but I gotta go.
Hey, but imagine this all that stuff E.T. Star Wars. Oh shit! No, it's real.
No, but now when you got those, we were speaking about the declassified files, right? You see all these people that were in the Navy that had encounters. If you go get a chance, go on YouTube and look it up. Just type in armies encounters with the chariots or UFOs. They're scared as hell. They said, look, we really couldn't do nothing. And when you hear them describe it, you hear the fear in their voices, man. You know? And that's why a lot of them left the army, because they said, look, they telling us to suppress this stuff, and they told us they try to hypnotize them and make them make up a lie of what they seen out there. They want to make sure that they don't go and tell people about these chariots, man. Because Esau thinks if he keeps this on the hush-hush, maybe the Lord ain't gonna come back. Maybe this ain't gonna happen.
You know, it's just like in the monster movie. The monster's chasing the girl, and she stop and close her eyes. The monster ain't gonna go away.
Right.
He's still right there. Maybe if I close my eyes, it'll go away. No.
Just like on the History Channel yesterday, they said the pilots that go on commercial flights, they say they see a chariot every day, but they're told not to report it.
Not to report it. You know? And we speaking about the chariots. I know y'all seen that drone that was there. That's probably Satan checking in. They left already now.
Was it a flying drone?
Just hanging out there, looked like it was checking us out. You
Oh
know?
yeah, it was.
You know?
Oh yeah, it was.
Seen it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the drones. Remember Flash Gordon? Remember they had the drones flying around.
Yeah,
spying?
drones. Yeah, see, but they Flash Gordon
Talking about
movie.
the
Yeah,
movies.
drones. He had the drones flying around watching shit.
Yep.
Yeah. In Star Wars, they had drones
Star
too.
Wars.
The Empire had their drones flying around, watching shit. Yeah, man. Finish up.
Yeah, drones flying around.
Continue on, 2 Ezra 13 and 8. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst flight. Verse 9.
I mean, they're gonna be scared, but they're gonna still fly.
Verse 9. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand.
The violence, man. And the scriptures say, thus with violence shall great Babylon be destroyed, man. And see, the Lord's gonna make Esau fight, because Esau's not gonna be able to back his way out of this, man.
Nope.
He's gonna get all of that work that the Lord got prepared for him, man.
Yeah.
Don't get that smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
right.
it, man.
That's right. It's time.
Yeah.
The Chariot's gonna be fucking their shit up.
They've been all this time. They've been out of space, fucking around with the what they call the Orion Belt, which is the firmament that the Lord set up. They've been sitting there shooting shit into space.
Oh, they
Remember the
dirty in
scriptures?
space.
Huh?
They dirty enough
Yeah.
space.
Yeah. That's right.
And in that day, that's the end. That's the end. That's truly the end. You know what? That's when everything is gonna really change. Like the book, How Appreciate a Change of Worlds. At that moment, that's when Israel's gonna go. That's when it's gonna go from the Israelite man being called a nigga, looked down on a nigga. He just a nigga. That's when all that's gonna change. The whole outlook of when you see a so-called black man, that's gonna be the end of that. That day, that day is gonna be the end of when you see a black man, that nigga, he's just a nigga. That whole outlook of how this world looks at the Israelite man is going. That's gonna be different then. That's gonna be the end right there. That's the end of niggas in that day.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
And these women, you know, your woman
Oh.
popping out of the side of her mouth. You ain't gonna be no more of that shit.
Coming at you sideways.
You ain't gonna be worried about how many.
God.
You hope you have as many wives as please, whatever please you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, man, these women are just gonna jump. And these women, they're gonna jump right in order, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna jump right the fucking order. They're gonna jump right in
Right.
order. Before the missiles come.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, man.
2 Ezra 13 and
All
9.
these women out here walking around out here, they ain't gonna be walking around out here scantily clad,
Nope,
man.
nope.
No.
Not at all.
Right.
Covered up, face down,
Yep.
and shut the hell up.
Yep.
Yeah, all that shit, all this shit. You gonna see this
Yeah.
shit.
We're
They're
not
gonna
here in the
be,
world.
they're gonna be hiding up under a
Daughters of Sarah.
motherfucking bed somewhere, man. They're gonna be hiding up under the bed somewhere, man.
Hey, you got 72-year-old women getting fucking tattoos, talking about slippery when wet. Get the fuck out of here.
I don't even get one.
I don't even want to.
Right.
I don't even want to involve myself.
You see them old hoes?
But they go to show you how outlandish this kingdom is, man. Well, go ahead, brother.
2 Ezra 13 and 9. And lo,
Well, this is Rome. This is Rome. Remember in Rome, what was the motto of Rome? Do as thou wilt. Do as thou wilt. That was the motto of Rome. Do as thou wilt. Go ahead, brother.
2 Ezra 13 and 9. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand nor held sword.
Then it was easy. Y'all just gonna look at him and snap him.
And that shows you one thing: spiritual power, man.
That's right.
All right, spiritual power. Because you ain't look. You can't defeat this devil on a carnal tip, trying to get arms and weapons, man. We've been telling you that, man. And we told you that the Lord is gonna get him. We said, look, and he ain't gonna have to sit there and bust a sweat and lift up his hand and everything. He's gonna use spiritual power. He's gonna think.
That's right.
They're just gonna come. Esau gonna be done that quick.
And Esau knows that. That's
Yes.
why you think they've been making all these movies for all these years? The X-Men, the superhero movies.
Yep.
Because Esau is fascinated with that spiritual power. He's trying his best to tap into that spiritual power.
Remember the movie we used to watch when we were little, Firestarter?
Yeah.
Remember, they would take anybody with psychic abilities, they would take it and try to extract the liquid from their pineal gland and try to
Oh no, they do
duplicate
it. Well, that's what
They're doing it.
that movie. I don't know if y'all seen the one with Jamie Foxx. Power.
Oh yeah, I saw
Yeah,
it.
I saw it,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Yeah,
bad. That's a bad movie. You seen that?
show you.
I saw it the other night, man.
And in there, they show you that Jake got that power. Because why? We're the children of the Most High. And Esau, and I won't be surprised if Esau actually got niggas sitting there trying to take their blood and not right.
No, I did a video on that, Superman video.
Yeah.
They found out there's we all got melanin.
Yep.
There's a special type of melanin called EU melanin.
Okay.
And this melanin it's in low, very, very low in Esau, because they ain't got melanin, but Jake, he got a little bit more. But basically what they found out is that this melanin can conduct electricity and change to any shape that it wants to be. Basically, it's like the key to spiritual power.
Wow.
So they're militarizing melanin to use it for military uses. Basically, to turn their soldiers into superhumans.
Yeah.
They show you that movie too, one of the X-Men, the earlier ones. The first time they show, what's that dude, the weirdo? The one with the swords. What's his name?
Weapon X. No.
The nigga there.
Deadpool.
When first time they showed Deadpool, the earlier Wolverine. Remember how they had Wolverine and all them? The X-Men are the unknown men. Those are the men with the spiritual powers that they've taken and studying on. Yeah. They put it out there as entertainment, but that's fucking accurate.
Well, wait a minute. Remember back in slavery, what Esau used to do to Jake? They had arthritis or rheumatoid or whatever you call it, rheumatism. They'll sit there and walk on a slave back. They make them, so that way they'll transfer whatever type of disease or whatever they got into the slave. And they knew that Jake had the healing power, so they would let the slave heal them of whatever infirmity, such as the arthritis and everything. That's what Esau was doing, because Esau, they know that we're the children of the Most High,
Green Mile. Remember that? They showed you that? And then remember, there's another movie they put out there called Jokes, Men That Stare at Goats.
I saw that movie.
You remember that? And they used it as a comedy, but that was an actual government experiment where they used the psychics to use it to explode hearts and everything else. And the government has a terminology they call psych soldiers. To look it up. Short for psych, Superman, we always break it down. Superman's father was Kal-El, which means all powerful, right? Jor-El. It's like it. Now, Superman is Jake, right?
Well, Superman is supposed to be Yahushua. That's the story of Yahushua.
Okay.
Remember, he sent his son to the earth to save the people, So Superman, really, they got from the Bible. DC got that. That was the story of Yahushua. Right. So that's why all those crackers that play Superman end up dead. Because that's the same as that. That's a white man trying to play Superman. All them crackers that play Superman, they get jacked up somehow.
Well, that's like Jake in the angelic state.
Yeah.
Now, when he's Clark Kent, the word Clark means priest. When he traces it, it goes back to clerk, which goes back to clergy, which means priest. Now, the priests are the Most High, the Israelite men. So the Supermen are really us. And we're Clark Kents now because we're in the chains of darkness, which are the mortal bodies.
Hey,
Deuteronomy 7-6.
Yep, Deuteronomy 7-6 proves it. Yep. Esau don't know what to do with it, because Esau envisions a goddamn gay superhero. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's why the Lord's coming, man. This devil done gone too far, man. Like it says in Revelation, the sins have reached into the heavens, man. So why in the hell would you want to make a fucking gay ass superhero, man? That shit don't make no sense, no way, no how, other than you just want to be the goddamn devil. Yep. You see? Go ahead.
Second Esdras chapter 13. Verse 9, it says, "And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war." But verse 10, but only...
See, the Lord don't gotta have no special missile to do a trade with Russia and steal some scientists to build them a weapon to take. Nah. Go ahead.
Verse 10, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as I had been a blast of fire.
As there's been a blast of fire, meaning out of the mouth of what? The chariot, the so-called UFO. All right, a blast of fire. He basically blasted all these different armies, man. Go ahead.
Verse 2 Esdras 13:10. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests.
Right, man. It's gonna be all kind of hell coming from out them chariots, with all kind of lasers, fires.
It's gonna be bad.
There's no way that Esau's gonna survive. You're not gonna survive. That's why, look, man, Scripture say strive for the truth unto death. If it's your life, we gotta die for this, so be it. The Lord is gonna come back. You know, that you can rest assured that Yahushua gonna come back and handle things, right?
Right.
He's gonna make things right.
You're gonna be raised up anyway. You're gonna be up the first to be raised.
That's right.
So when it comes time, they say, look, you're gonna take this chip or you're gonna die. Yo, man,
You gotta be ready to die, man.
Take it. Take that death. Yahushua said, no greater love of a man than he laid on his life for his friends. We'll finish up, because after this, we're going to wrap up the camp after we finish this.
2 Esdras 13 and 11. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude.
Yo, it's all going to be happening. The laser beams that the chariot's going to be shooting, and then remember the missiles are going to be dropping. So that's all going to be boom. The missiles, and then the chariot shooting laser beams, and then guess what? Leviathan is going to be in the midst of that too. He's going to be in the midst, swinging his tail, smacking Esau.
Right.
I mean, hey, Leviathan might be he might breathe fire. That's why Esau got the whole Godzilla thing from. Leviathan, more than likely, he might start breathing fire. Leviathan might have shooting laser beams of fire. He's going to be causing tsunamis.
Yep, Godzilla loosely translated is power. Listen.
Yeah. Man. Leviathan is going to be a part of this thing too, man. Go ahead, brother. That's going to be a terrible thing. So the only way you can escape is being into the chariot.
That's right. Continuing on, 2 Esdras 13 and 11. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude.
The multitude, violence. It's going to be violence upon Esau and the nations. They're going to be getting fucked up. Go ahead, brother.
And fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up, every one, so that upon a sudden, all the innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke.
Dust and smell of smoke. It's going to be like, yo, I remember after the World Trade Center went down, after they blew it up, we went down there and we just saw the rubble, and you could smell the sulfur and the dust in the air.
I remember that shit.
You can smell all that shit in the air. That's what it's going to be, just a burn up, man. Woo!
And see, on 2 Esdras 13 and 11, it says, when I saw this, I was afraid. Verse 12, afterward saw I the same man come down from the mountain, and call unto him another peaceable multitude.
Another peaceable, the elect.
Yep.
He's going to be calling up the elect. He's going to be beaming the elect of Israel up into the chariots, man. See?
Continuing on, 2 Esdras 13 and 13. And there came much people unto him, whereof some were glad, some were sorry, and some of them were bound.
That's the end game, man.
End game.
And others some. 2 Esdras 13 and 13. And there came much people unto him, whereof some were glad, some were sorry, and some of them were bound. And others some brought of them that were offered. Then was I sick through great fear.
Yeah, man. Ezra saw that vision, man. Because that wouldn't make any of you sick. You'd be in the bed for a couple of days, man. Freak the fuck out of your mind.
And I awakened and said, verse 14, thou hast showed thy servant these wonders from the beginning, and hast counted me worthy that thou should have received my prayer.
Yeah, man. They received the prayer of the Lord, man. The Lord showed him that vision. That was a blessing. Ezra couldn't believe that he was found worthy to see something like that, man. That's one of the heaviest chapters, man.
Yeah, done.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a blessing.
But that was the point, man. We can stop right there. We can stop right there. That was the main point we wanted to hit.
So hey, the word went out, man. Say Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh, Ba'ashim Brakatha Dash. All right? Hey, we're going to say shalom to you, Ahchyam.
Hey, shalom.
Shalom, brothers. Done.
Right before the camera.